Hi lovelies, welcome back to my kitchen. It's Darmiey. I hope you're having a wonderful weekend. Today I'm going to be showing you how to make Nigerian meat pies with a twist. I made a lattice crust for this meat pie. So let's get started. So I'm going to start by sifting 2 cups of all-purpose flour, half teaspoon of baking powder, and a quarter teaspoon of salt. Mix it up. Now I'm going to be grating cold butter into this. It's frozen actually. I put it in the freezer for about 30 minutes before I started. Then I'm just going to gently toss it with my fingers. You don't want your fingers to stay in this mixture for too long so that the warmth of your hand does not begin to melt the butter. Okay, so I'll be using milk instead of water for my pie crust just to give it a good flavor because the main point of this pie is the crust. So I'm using some milk and I want it to be like cookies, so I'm going to make it be on the drier side. I'm just going to mix this until it can hold its shape. I don't want it to really come together. I'll put all the recipe measurements in the description box below. So now that it can hold its shape, my pie crust is fine. I'm going to turn it onto some cling wrap. And then I'm going to use the cling wrap to press it together. Alright, so you can still see my butter in the crust. I'm going to go put this in the fridge for about 30 minutes while I work on my pie filling. So I'll be using ground beef, carrots, and 1 potato. A shallot is like an onion and a garlic hooked up and had a baby. It's like a marriage between the two flavors. Then I'll set this aside. Then I'll be using my food processor for my carrots just to make it faster. I'll put it in a separate bowl and set it aside. I'll also repeat the same thing for my potatoes. Alright, so I have my pan on medium heat. I'm just going to add my shallots. And then once it's translucent, I'll add my ground beef. So now I'm just breaking it apart. And now to season, I have curry powder, thyme, garlic powder, and cayenne pepper for some heat. You can use fresh pepper if you want. Then I'm going to sprinkle this on top my meat and mix it well. Now I'm adding some beef seasoning and some salt. Then I'll mix this well again and then cook it until the meat is no longer pink. Now it's time to add my potatoes and my carrots. Alright, so I'm going to sprinkle this with some flour. And then I'll add some water. This is just to make my filling moist and make sure that it's not dry. So I'm going to cover this and let this cook for about 5 minutes. You want to make sure that you keep an eye on it so that it doesn't burn. Alright, and now I'm going to put it on a flat plate so that it can cool down fast. So now my pie filling is cool. It's time to assemble these pies. So I brought out my pie crust from the fridge and I'm going to divide it into two parts. Now I'm going to roll it in between two sheets of parchment paper. This step is optional, but it just makes sure that your table and your rolling pin is clean than if I put it on the table and put the rolling pin on it directly. So the parchment paper is going to make sure that there is no mess. So I'll just keep rolling and turning until I've flattened out the pie crust. Now I'm going to use my cookie cutter to cut circles out of this pie crust. I'm dipping the cookie cutter in some flour so that it doesn't stick. Alright, so I have 8 circles here. I'll roll out the other side too. And now I'm just trimming the edges. Now I'm using a pizza cutter to cut straight lines here. I put out a ruler before I started filming this video and somehow the ruler developed wings and I couldn't find it, so I just freestyled it. We are going to have like a rustic looking pie, and by the end of the video I found the ruler again. Does that ever happen to you? Anyways, I'm done cutting all the strips, so it's time to assemble. I'm putting just a little bit of filling in the middle. This pie is all about the crust, so I just put in like a little bit. It's going to be like cookies. And now it's time to start forming the lattice. So I'm going to lay out some vertical strips on my pie. You can adjust the strips if you want. It would have been neater if I used ruler, but it's okay, it's going to be fine. So now I'm going to raise alternating strips and then start laying my horizontal strips. Just watch what I'm doing. I don't know how to explain it. It's like you're weaving a mat or something like that. We are trying to form our lattice crust. While you're working on your lattice, you want to preheat your oven to 375F or 190C so that by the time you're done, your oven will be hot and ready to go. So once I'm done forming the lattice, I'm going to use a smaller cookie cutter and cut the excess away. This will help cut the excess away and also seal the pie crust. So you want to use a smaller cookie cutter than the one you used to cut out the original circles. Alright, 1 down, 7 to go. So I'm going to repeat this process again and show you how it's done. Just alternating between the vertical and horizontal strips to form a lattice. Alright, so I'm going to do the rest of camera and then we'll come back. Now I'm brushing my pies with some egg wash so that it comes out shiny. And then I'll put it in the oven at 375 F for 190 C for 30 minutes or until it's golden brown. Alright, my pies are ready. Look at how adorable they look. I got so excited I forgot I just brought it out of the oven. And this is how it looks. I'm going to cut into one for you. The pie crust is so delicious. It tasted like cookies. And then the filling too was really good. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up if you found it helpful. Also subscribe to my channel if you are not subscribed already. Please turn on your post notifications so you'll be the first to get notified when I post a new video, which is every Saturday by 12 p.m. Eastern Time or 5 p.m. West African Time. Thank you for watching. I hope you have a good one and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.